and Banjul is growing from strength to strength. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice has inaugurated a new Justice Department in Basse. The new development is expected to boost efforts at ensuring timely delivery of justice, especially in far-flung regions of the country. Ibrahim Ajata witnessed the historic development and reports the National Agency for Legal Aid has also started extending its tentacles around the country.
It's the icing on the cake and flourishing climax, virtually affecting the entire judicial picture in the Upper River region. This is one of the Gambia's biggest and most far-flung jurisdictions. An agency for legal aid and justice department with all the refined makings of a legal division is the fresh new addition narrowly rounding up the judicial scene in the region, which already brags a magistrate court, high court, alternative dispute resolution secretariat, as well as a children's court. Apart from an appellate court, a Muslim Qadi court may probably be the only feature missing from this list, but even this slight deficit is set to become history as Governor Omar Khan revealed the ongoing process to institute one in the region.
Chief Justice, I promise you, my Lord Chief Justice, what I did for the legal aid office is exactly what I'm going to do for this Qadi court. Chief Justice, within the next 2 weeks.
The governor evidently knows the importance is a department as such will provide in fulfilling the region's judicial needs.
Honorable Attorney General, please extend our grateful thanks to His Excellency the President.
It's a very, very historic moment which any one of us can describe as a milestone in the administration of justice in the Gambia.
Lamin Jabate is the Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Poor people go to court, they can afford the cost of a lawyer. And again, the government of the Gambia, through our visionary leader, established the Legal Aid Agency.
While extolling President Jammeh for exclusively funding the scheme, the Attorney General underscored government's drive to bring justice to the doorstep of all and sundry.
It is the Legal Aid Agency that provides legal services to the poor and the vulnerable. So now, it is not possible for anybody to say, I wish I had money to secure the service of a lawyer. You are given free of charge. That is a big achievement.
A Justice Department and Agency for Legal Aid will greatly give justice delivery and administration in the sprawling region a dynamic disposition which officials want to run off with a Muslim Qadi and appeals court. The Chief Justice of the Gambia, Emmanuel Ajin, simply sees bright prospects for justice delivery and administration in Basse as it continues to receive legal mechanisms with all the verve it can muster.
Before now, the government had promised you that they will take justice to people in the grassroots. That is under the legal sector strategy purpose. And that program has now ended. It's now succeeded by PAGE. And the program of extension of justice to the people in the region is still on.
While affirming the ongoing process to establish a Muslim Qadi court in Basse, the Chief Justice revealed the judiciary's intention to recruit eligible personnel from the area in order to ease the problem of accommodation. It's the heyday of justice administration in the Upper River region, a fully refurbished high court with a magistrate and children's court forming the background of a major law courts complex, newly built judges and magistrate quarters, a spanking new justice department and agency for legal aid. Even alternative dispute resolution has a place in the list, helping not only to expedite justice, but provide necessary legal aid for those who can understand or afford it. In the matter of justice administration and delivery, the Upper River region is certainly on a significant pedestal. Improvements in the region's judicial scene seem to unveil somewhat perpetually from one significant institution to another. Here in the Upper River region, the access to justice initiative is certainly far above the ground. Ibrahim Ajata, GRTS.
The special court has acquitted and discharged one-day Janj, the suspect in the death of Bara native Adam Faye. Prosecutors had brought 5 witnesses and tendered a host of exhibits to prove the charge of murder against the accused, who testified as a lone witness in her defense. Prosecutors say the accused had a brawl with the deceased on the 11th of April, after which both emerged with serious injuries. Prosecution's 4th witness had testified that the accused told him that it was the deceased who first stabbed her in the neck and that she acted in retaliation in the face of danger by stabbing him as well. The court found it critical to establish if the act was committed out of malice or in self-defense, and ultimately decided that it did not believe the accused used excessive force in the act, which resulted in the loss of life. The Special Criminal Court absolved Ndeye Janj of all criminal liability and consequently acquitted and discharged her. In a separate matter, the Special Criminal Court on Monday, prosecutors arraigned one Adama Ginde on a single count of murder, contrary to Section 35 of the Criminal Code. Ginde is said to have fed one Seninjai with chemical soda, knowing that death would be the probable consequence of her action. Sometime in March 2012, the accused denied the charge when it was presented to her before a fully packed courtroom. The presiding judge, Justice Emmanuel Nkea, subsequently rescheduled the matter for hearing on April 5, 2012. We'll be back with stories from outside the Gambia after this short break. Welcome back. Scores of Malian students have joined in the protest against last week's military coup in the West African country. On a day Malians commemorate the 1991 coup of Amadou Toumani Touré, students and other factions called on the army to return the country to civilian rule. Meanwhile, the Kenyan foreign minister, who was caught up in Bamako during the coup, has slammed the army for deposing the democratically elected civilian government. Moses Wetangula describes the soldiers' action as regrettable and irresponsible. We have details in this report.
To protest the army takeover, members and sympathizers of Mali's Student Association joined other factions on Monday morning to request the departure of the junta. In Mali, March 26 is a bank holiday to commemorate the 1991 coup carried out by Amadou Toumani Touré. At the time, the aim was to end the dictatorship of Moussa Traoré, and a year later, Touré had re-established democracy. Meanwhile, the United Front for the Safeguard of the Republic, which formed on Sunday and regroups the country's main political parties, is calling for a return to constitutional legitimacy and the immediate release of politicians and members of the army who are currently detained by putschists. The growing opposition hopes that those they are negotiating with have good intentions. We prefer to act in a positive and optimistic way and believe they will agree to sit down and negotiate with the active forces who hope capture will end quickly. Nearly all of Mali's political groups are against the military coup, and many voices have echoed this view across Africa, including this Kenyan minister who was stuck in Bamako last week and has only recently returned home.
I want to say that Africa should mature. The days of coups are gone. It is highly regrettable and irresponsible for young excited soldiers to take guns and drive out elected governments out of office.
Force Captain Sanago, head of the junta, tomorrow will be a test as it's expected to mark a return to work in the private and public sectors.
Supporters of Senegal's president-elect Macky Sall celebrated well into the night, following confirmation of his victory in Sunday's round of vote. Early results released shortly after polls closed gave Sall a commanding lead in the round of vote. The incumbent president, Abdoulaye Wade, quickly found his rival and former protege to concede defeat. Let's look at this report for more on that.
The early results of the presidential elections in Senegal were announced. Thousands of people converged on the campaign headquarters of Macky Sall. All night long they showed their joy across the capital city of Dakar, dancing to loud music. These supporters of the former Prime Minister of Senegal were thrilled when President Abdoulaye Wade conceded defeat. Some of the presidential candidates who did not get past the first round of the vote also celebrated. It's a great relief for the Senegalese people. 12 years of this ordeal and betrayal of